Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Catching the Facts, an uncensored view of D1 college football. I'm your host, Dan Sisk.
And I'm Eric Schroeder.
First off, I hope everyone had a very happy holiday and a happy new year. Eric, I hope you had the same. First off, we want to give a formal apology on the part of WSVC Radio for the technical difficulties that kind of plagued our last episode. It was hollow. The audio was very hollow for a significant chunk of the runtime, and then it restarted in the middle of our episode. So you guys actually didn't hear our full bracket reaction. There was nothing we could do. Our station manager kind of was in a bind. There was nothing he could do either. Really, really unfortunate, but we're currently going through a software change right now, so that issue will not be a recurring problem moving forward. So again, very sorry about that, but we are looking forward here to the last few episodes. Sadly, Eric, I have had such a good time making this with you, of Catching the Facts. So let's get started. We have so many games. We have the Pitt-Toledo bowl game that we are obligated to wax poetic about. And then we're going to go through all 10 of the currently played college football playoff games. We'll give our general thoughts as to how the playoffs gone so far, like a general overview that kind of goes beyond the teams individually. And then we'll give you some national championship predictions. They're the easiest predictions we've ever made. So, Eric, let's get started. Okay, so we'll get started with Pitt-Toledo. So, Eric, what do you have on that?
Yeah, so 6 overtimes this game went to. Toledo wins it 48-46. Toledo had 416 total yards, 336 passing yards, and 80 rushing yards. Pitt had 438 total yards, 137 passing, and 301 rushing. I mean, this is probably as good as a bowl game can get when it's Pitt.
Yeah, that's fair. You have to lower the criteria to Pitt level.
Yeah.
Lower the criteria there. Yep.
I mean, I know that covering Pitt is just but this was a good game. It was an exciting one. 6 overtime is always fun to watch.
Yeah, and honestly, even though it was a 6 overtime thing, the teams were actually scoring the 2-point conversion, so it wasn't like miserable to watch. Yeah.
Just back and forth, just good football. Not good football, but solid.
You lost to Toledo, you losers. You lost to Toledo. I'm sorry. Let's call it like we see it. This team is sad to watch. I lost brain cells watching this team. And here's the thing. I genuinely, like, if it were up to me, I would never talk about this team again, But we're obligated by the area to kind of talk about Pitt football. So sadly, the hands of myself and the hands of Eric they're all tied. This was just, it was fine. Like you said, Eric. I mean, it was good for Pitt, I guess, like a quality game for that program. But man, if this isn't a microcosm for the ACC as a whole, the ACC went 2-11 in bowl games this year. I can't think of a better microcosm of that legacy of failure than this game right here. I mean, this was just, at one point, Pitt had a 97% chance to win, like that was their win probability. And they blew it. I mean, they just choked. I mean, talk about just throwing the game away. But to be fair, getting to 6 overtimes and scoring 46 points with a third string quarterback is not bad. But again, it's against Toledo. So how impressive is that win, like in the grand scheme of college football,
Yeah, and the two quarterbacks they didn't even have in under 100 yards passing. 65 and 72, David Lynch 65, Julian Duggar 72.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a good game with 2 interceptions. So,
but again, they got them to the backups like that. The third and fourth strings got them to 6 overtimes. Right. So it's still at least something,
exactly. And Desmond Reed, he's a good running back. 32 carries, 165 yards. 32 carries,
he had a great game.
That's crazy.
33 carries is ridiculous.
Yeah. Touchdown, but I mean, good game.
Yeah.
Either way.
Agreed.
Defense side of the ball, not great. Couldn't stop Junior Vander Ross on the ground. 194 yards, but
Yeah,
Or, sorry, in the air. But
there's nothing to say here, man. I mean, it was fine.
Yeah.
I know someone who was there and he was like miserable for the whole time because he was in the band and he wanted to leave and they couldn't leave. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens with that program moving forward. I mean, they need. Oh my God, I'm actually blanking on his name. The quarterback. Oh my God,
Eli Holstein.
Eli Holstein. Wow, that's how irrelevant Peyton is, guys. I genuinely forgot his name. They need him to like seriously level up, and they need to hope he doesn't transfer.
Yeah.
If I am Pitt, I'm terrified that he transfers. They're probably lucky for this season because he's hurt.
Right.
So it's going to be risky for like a big time team in the SEC or Big Ten to like take a flyer on him, like Bo Pribula for Penn State.
Yeah.
He wasn't hurt and he played well, so he was able to go to Missouri, which is a top 20 program. I don't see Holstein making that jump with his injuries.
Yeah.
So that's why if I'm Pitt, I go to him and I'm like, you're not getting to a better program next year because of your injuries. You might as well stay here. Right. That's my thought process.
And he played good, but he didn't play like outstanding.
He was fine.
Yeah.
He was fine.
Just good enough. He's a good quarterback for Pitt at the moment.
Yes, but
he would be a backup in these top 20 schools.
I agree, but remember when they started playing the ACC, that's when they went on their 5-game losing streak.
Right.
So
yeah,
and that's when the lights were brightest. So
exactly.
I don't know, but again, he's a first year player. So he'll develop.
Right. He'll be good though.
Yeah. So again, I suspect it's another 8-4, 7-5. Season for them next year,
which is a turnaround from
it is. Prior. Yeah, I mean, let's be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, this program is just going to be trapped in the purgatory of mediocrity for the very foreseeable future, and that's all I have to say on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Goodbye, Pitt football. Well, I'm just going to be perfectly honest. We won't miss talking about you. We actually, Eric and I actually have fun talking about other things. He and I, we'd rather talk about like the sunset than Pitt football. I mean, I'm glad that this is in the rearview mirror because we can talk about real teams with real quality players and overrated quarterbacks and overrated coaches. You guys probably have no idea what team I'm talking about. Okay, so we're going to just kind of skim through the first round because all 4 of these games were blowouts, so we kind of want, and this is going to be a long episode anyway, so we're just going to try to tighten up the runtime. Here's my general consensus on this, Eric, and this isn't limited to the first round. This kind of supersedes the whole thing. I think it's very obvious, and give me your thoughts on this. I'm curious. Mm-hmm. I think it's very obvious that there are only 3 or 4 teams every year that legitimately have a chance at winning a national championship.
Yeah,
and I think that, like baseball, the bye is becoming a problem because the bye is like no longer helping these teams. Because think about it, all these teams get weeks off between conference championship games and bowl games, to really make a stamp. So when all these, who hosted? It was Texas, Penn State, Ohio State, and Notre Dame. Those were the 4 teams who hosted home games in the first round. They're getting more consistent playing time. That's clearly a factor. And honestly, I thought that would kill Arizona State, the fact that they weren't playing on a regular basis. But that game, we'll get to it. But Arizona State blew me away with their resiliency. But yeah, like baseball, the bye is a problem. These teams are really struggling to go on a long extended break and then come out with their heads held high, going to neutral fields. I mean, think about it. The neutral field also was a problem. Look at Oregon. I mean, that was a disaster. So I saw this theory, Eric, and I really want to hear your thoughts on this. What if we did the neutral site game first? And then the 1 through 4 seeds host a home game.
Yeah, or you could just do first and second round home field.
First and second round.
Yeah.
So you would get rid of the Rose Bowl.
Ooh, I like the Rose Bowl. I don't want to get rid of the Rose Bowl.
I know, but here's the thing. I agree with you, but that's the problem with this.
Call. I mean,
Think about this. Under my proposal, the Rose Bowl would be a couple days before Christmas. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I'm so used to being New Year's Day. That's a tough call, man. That's a tough call. But here's the thing. For the good of the sport, I think it might need to happen. I think you need to incentivize 1 through 4. And the way to incentivize 1 through 4 is to give them a home field advantage. So if they're going to get, that's offsets the bye. You get the bye, which is bad for team rhythm and bad for, to an extent, team dynamics. But in response, you get a home game.
Yeah.
I think it's a little unfair for 1 through 4 to get the extended bye and then go to a neutral field. Because all 4 of the top 4 teams lost, and 3 of them were slaughters. Mm-hmm. So, it's tough, man. It's a real tough call. Because it's so hard for me to envision the Fiesta Bowl and the Peach Bowl and the Rose Bowl and all these classic games not being at New Year's. But I think that I think that needs to happen. I really do.
It's hard, but I feel like it's just too early to tell right now. Because this is only the first year.
I agree. Give it a couple years. That's fair.
I don't mind these teams here, like Ohio State and Texas and
Penn State
and Notre Dame. I don't mind them getting that home field advantage on campus. Because
sure, but wouldn't it be better for 1 through 4 to get that advantage instead of 5 through 8?
If you're 1 through 4, I feel like you should just be ready to play wherever. Just because.
I can see that argument
because you're getting an advantage technically because of the bye, right?
Yes.
So CFP thinks you get the advantage, right? So I feel like playing in a neutral site just makes sense because you already have that advantage of being able to get healthy mainly. And getting the bye.
So you think that that's enough of an incentive for 1 through 4?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that's a take. I respect it. No, I'm not laughing at you. I respect that. It's a tough call.
It is, and it's just so early. It's so hard to even say. I could change my mind.
But
next year.
But 7 of the 8 games were blowouts, man.
Yeah, I know.
In the first, I'm sorry to be a hater, but I don't even think I'm hating. Actually, I feel it's I don't know. That's tough. That's a tough call.
It's just it's not so much home field advantage. It's more of the bye possibly being just way too long. 3 weeks is just, and you don't even know who you're playing.
It's an eternity. But that was the case before. 1 through 4 got that extended break, but none of them had a neutral field, which is probably the thought process for doing it that way.
Yeah.
By the committee. The committee was like, okay, well, for the last 10 years, 1 through 4 had a 3-week break and then went to a neutral field. Why not continue with that? Mm-hmm. But I think now that we have more teams. Also, is 12 teams too much? I feel like it should be 8.
Yeah, I think 12. Honestly, yes. Because you're getting these teams.
I'm sorry. SMU.
Right.
Guys.
You're getting these teams in here that just will never have a shot at winning anything. They're just in here because they just beat out Alabama or something.
Who didn't deserve to be in either.
And they were pretty close.
Yeah.
They were barely out, which is ridiculous. So that's.
They were barely out, and they had 3. Here's my line of reasoning for Alabama. I feel like you can have 3 losses if one of those is a conference championship game.
Oh, yeah.
Alabama had 3 losses. They didn't even play in that game.
No.
So you cannot justify them being in. And the committee didn't. Good for them. They didn't have Alabama bias. I thought they would.
But it was a little, it was like people were debating whether they should get in or not. That shouldn't even be a discussion.
Exactly.
So 12 teams, it could be too much. I think 8 would be perfect.
I agree. Eight's the way.
8's probably the number.
Because at the best case scenario, you have 6 teams who are good enough to win a championship, and 6 of 8, I'll take that.
Yeah.
6 of the 8 that actually have a chance. You'll get some great games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was 4 of the 12 teams. Now, this was before Ohio State went on a tear, but Oregon, we thought Oregon had a shot.
We did. That's fair. Yeah.
So there were some teams in there, but once I started playing, it was just like
yeah. And I guess there's no better time to talk about. I was at the Penn State SMU game, first round, the home game. It was genuinely difficult to watch. Like it wasn't fun.
No,
it really wasn't. The conditions were obviously brutal. But besides the condition, we actually bundled up. I looked like freaking Frosty. No, I looked like what was his name? Ralphie's brother from Christmas Story,
Okay.
The one who got bundled up. That's who I looked like. Merry Christmas, guys. No, but it was like Penn State was not playing well, and SMU was just an embarrassment. I mean, it was horrible to watch. And like that was the case with the other 3 games in the first round. And I want this playoff. It's really hard to sell a new model to the fans and be like, hey guys, 12-team playoff, and then have 7 of the 8 games be blowouts. Like it's really hard to sell that to the fans.
For sure, especially like these new college football fans or just like even the casual fan that's just watching.
Why would casual fans watch Penn State SMU?
Yeah.
Why would they watch that? No one wants to watch that game.
And they turn on the game and it's like 38-7 in a playoff game. That's just ridiculous.
Miserable.
So I think 8 teams would work, just because you shouldn't be having these huge blowouts. Yeah, a team gets hot, whatever.
To be fair,
but
there were blowouts the last 10 years.
Before, exactly, yeah.
However,
this is just different.
However, with the additional teams, I think it's justified. And also, in the last 10 years, I mean, how many snubs were there? I mean, I'm thinking 2016 when Washington got in over Penn State, which led to the amazing Penn State USC Rose Bowl. But Penn State and USC both deserved to be in the playoff over Washington that year.
Yeah.
And the Rose Bowl in 2017, New Year's Day, proved it one of the best bowl games of all time. That's not my opinion. That's literally the opinion of the experts in that area. And I love thinking back to that game, even though Penn State lost in a heartbreaker. But we're not throwing salt in the wound. Eric, you have the right to throw salt in the wound later. But I mean, I just feel like Clemson at least put up a bit of a fight. But I mean, Notre Dame, Indiana, I wasn't even paying full attention to that game. Yeah. Who in their right mind thought Indiana had a chance? Who thought?
Kurt Signetti. That's it.
Yeah.
He really thought he had a chance.
Yeah, well, he's delusional.
Yeah, so, I mean...
Okay, I really wanted your thoughts on the buys and the number of teams, because I just really think it... Again, we're going only on one season. Let's see the next 2-3 years.
Yeah, exactly. Leave it for a while.
But right now, I mean, if we're overreacting, right?
Oh, yeah.
If we're going to overreact, I say let's look at the fact that 7 of the 8 games were blowouts, and that 1 through 4 clearly had worse of an advantage than 5 through 8.
Right, but 1 through 4, I mean...
Like...
Do we think Arizona State's going to make that much noise? I understand they were hot.
No.
But, like... Boise State, like none of these teams have a shot at
Boise didn't. But here's the thing: like you can't tell me with a straight face that Ohio State and Penn State were not in better situations than Oregon.
Yeah,
they were. Like you can't. Like that's indisputable, right? So like that's a problem. Because why would Oregon fight for number 1? You know what's the advantage?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's really my thoughts on the thing overall. I just had to get that out, and I really like that discussion because honestly, I think it's really fascinating. And I know we're only going on 1 year, but
overreacting for now. But I mean, if it's the repeat of the same year over and over again, I do like that we're not going to see the same teams in the playoffs every year. Because before it was like a lot of the same.
But the teams that we're not going to see every year are going to be 9 through 12 who all got shelled.
Yeah, like
you're going to get Georgia every
Boise
year.
State.
That's fair. You're not going to get Boise, Arizona. I mean,
so,
I have a hard time believing Arizona's going to keep that up.
No. Once Cam's got
it. Agreed. Again, Boise, an anomaly. I have a hard time believing that the ACC winner next year will have 3 losses. I mean, that's just pitiful. That's so bad. So in which case, the ACC winner would obviously be 1 through 4. Also, no more of this top 4 conference champions 1 through 4. I'm good with I'm good with the top 4 champions being in.
Yeah,
but Boise should have been 11.
I'm so glad you said that.
Boise should have been 11, and Arizona State should have been 10.
Yeah, something
and then
like
Clemson
that.
Sneaks in at 12.
Top 4 teams should just
10 through 12 should have been the Mountain West winner, the ACC winner, and the Big 12 winner.
It should work like kind of a March Madness in a way.
I agree.
Where it's just like the top 4 teams in the nation get the bye. Or however they do it. But it's not like this.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Boise and Arizona should not have been 3 and 4.
No.
Boise and Arizona deserved to be in, but should have been 10, 11, 12, somewhere in the bottom.
And that's exactly why they lost. So
yeah, but we'll get to Arizona.
Yeah.
That was a good game. But Boise, that was. I was at a New Year's party and I honestly was barely watched it. We had it on in the background, but it's not like I was missing much, you know. Yeah. We need to stop getting the Mountain West winner at number 3.
Yeah.
Let the Mountain West winner in, but put him in at the bottom where they belong. Okay, so we'll just first round. Let's just go through scores. Texas won. Texas beat Clemson 38-24. Okay, yeah. We told you. I said from the get-go that Clemson was the best team in the ACC. Talk about. I was right, but compared to the rest of the teams, that just is an indictment of the rest of the ACC. That's just a trash conference. We'll get to the ACC later because I have words to say about them. But did you pay? I watched a bit of this. I wasn't.
Look, they didn't play horrible. Cade Klubnik 3 TDs and an interception. That's not bad. 336 yards.
No.
That's good stuff.
Yeah,
they were struggling on the ground for sure. In Texas, Jaden Blue, their running backs just ran all over them. Yeah. Jaden Blue and Contravion Wisner, 14 carries for 146 yards for Jaden Blue, 2 TDs, and then 15 carries for 110 yards for 2. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So just they just couldn't stop them
because the ACC isn't very physical.
Right.
They weren't ready for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Big 12/SEC, whatever we're calling Texas. I know it's technically SEC, but I still view them right now as more of a Big 12 school. But Big 12 football is a whole other, animal from ACC, and Clemson wasn't ready for it.
No, they just struggled, man. Texas' defense they're legit.
Yeah, I agree.
They were 3 for 12 on third down efficiency. Clemson was. You're just not going to win when you're just not executing on third downs. And then that pick that Ewers threw, he was trying to force it into that window.
He has no arm strength. Every single one of his throws, it just floats in the air. Oh, it was bad to watch.
Yeah, throws it so high.
Yeah,
everyone. It's like they're playing jackpot. Everyone just runs out. Yeah,
it just floats there, man. It's bad. Okay, yeah. Again, we're gonna speed run through the first round, unless there's something else you want to say about that.
No, that's it.
Okay. Okay. Ohio State. Oh my dear God! Just freaking.
This game, honestly, it surprised me.
I suspect that Ryan Day was FaceTimed in the locker room, and the AD had his family at gunpoint, and he was like, you better get me 4 TDs, bro. At least 4. He did what he should have done at the beginning of the season. He realized, oh wait, I have the best receivers in the country. Let's use them.
Yeah, agreed. And look, we were going through. I believe, honestly, I think we're perfect. By the way, with our predictions.
No, we predicted Oregon.
Did we really?
We did.
Oh, even me?
Yeah.
What?
We predicted Oregon.
Well, that's a big mistake.
We predicted Ohio State to win this game, but we called Oregon for first round because we were still you were still in particular reeling from Michigan. So yeah, I saw this. We'll get to this next round in a bit, but I was like, yeah, we were wrong.
Man. All right, whatever.
We were right on Notre Dame. Well, there we go. We got one side right. But anyway, yeah, this game was just a massacre, man.
We thought this game was going to be close, too.
Yeah, we did.
We were like, this is a tough game. This go either way. I mean, even, like,
I'll tell
ESPN
you
had it
what.
like 50-50.
Iamaliabo is like a chicken with his head cut off.
Oh, horrible.
Oh, my God.
Horrible. 104 yards, 14 for 31.
Whew. That's bad.
No
That's
TDs.
really bad. That's, like, horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just couldn't do anything.
He's just not – he's a quarterback. Talk about development. He is not ready for the big game.
No.
He is, like – he is so raw that he needs a lot of work. Boy, did they miss Hendon Hooker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean – And
they didn't even run that much, Ohio State.
No. They
really didn't. It was just – again, they realized we have the best receivers. Throw.
Yeah.
And Will Howard isn't an amazing quarterback, but he's good enough to get the ball.
Played really well this game, though. 24 for 29, 311 yards. Interception, but 2 TDs.
Yeah.
That's what you want to see out of your quarterback, especially especially Ryan Day with his job on the line.
Yeah.
Like, he just saved his job. So,
Agreed.
this –
Yeah. There's nothing. Again, we have more to say about Ohio State in a bit, guys, but we're trying to get through the first round because there are better games later.
Yep.
Okay. This game was an embarrassment. Penn State beat SMU 38-10. Look at Drew Aller's stat line. Yeah. This is a home playoff game.
13 for 22, 127 yards, no TDs, no interceptions.
I can't even.
When you were watching this game, right?
Yeah.
You were at the stadium.
I was at this game, yes.
When they ended up winning, were you a little nervous that they could lose to Boise State or no?
Honestly, no, because I truly believed when going in, I wasn't that nervous about Boise because I truly believed that Genty was their entire roster, and their defense is quite good. Penn State's defense is quite good. I mean, they had one of the highest scoring defenses, one of the best run defenses. I mean, it really, and as evidenced by Tom Allen getting hired away, he's the new DC at Clemson. But yeah, no, I really wasn't. But I was watching this game and they were killing SMU, and like, I was there with my uncle and my cousin, and we were just like, we honestly weren't even getting that excited,
right?
Because remember there were 2 pick sixes, and it was just the offense was the running backs were good, in particular Singleton. But Allen had a great game too. But my God, was the pass offense just painful. Painful.
48 yards on 4 catches. 0 touchdowns.
Seriously. And it proved to be a problem. I guess we can wait till later to talk about it, but they have no sideline threat. Their receivers were so bad.
And you've been saying it all year.
I have been.
So, I mean, it's like it gets to a point where it's
Dom DeLuca bailed him out because SMU dropped the ball in the end zone on that 4th down. That would have made it an interesting game. And, they got bailed out, man. Yeah. Well, I have more to say about Penn State later. So we'll move on.
Yep.
Okay, and then this was the Friday night game. I watched like 5 minutes because I was so confident in the result, and I was right in the result. So, Eric, what do you have on that?
So Notre Dame wins 27-17 against Indiana. It was.
No, this is talk about like, you guys are here and we're here. I mean, this was like.
Yeah.
Just.
And Kurt Signetti was on College Game. He was just talking so much. It was just like.
Google me.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't on game day, but he said that at the beginning of the year. I still think that the Ohio State Twitter account tweeting out Googled it after they killed Indiana with the capital L in that
it was on the big screen.
Yeah, whatever intern posted that should have gotten a raise because he or she is a genius. But seriously, Kurt Signetti, he's probably going to win Coach of the I don't know. I mean, look.
I think he.
Let's be fair. Let's be fair. They had a great season.
Yeah.
I think it's
it was it's a 1-game schedule, and that 1 game.
And he won Coach of the Year.
Yeah, the 2 top teams they played, they got destroyed.
Oh my God,
destroyed by Ohio State. It was like 38 to what was it, like a lot to a little.
Yeah, it was. I don't even remember. I don't remember the score, but Ohio State
Yeah, and then 27-17, they're just not ready for these big games.
No.
Coach Ignetti could develop a good team. No, you don't think so?
I don't think so, because who's going to want to go to play football in Indiana, like long term? You know?
No, yeah.
How many big if you're in that area, why wouldn't you go to Ohio State?
True.
Why wouldn't you go to Penn State?
Well, Penn State, I don't know. Honestly,
I would look, if I'm a top prospect, I would much rather go to Ohio State than Penn State.
Yeah.
But then Penn State's on the tier below, and Indiana's a tier below Penn State.
True.
So I mean, I'm just thinking, if you're thinking about Indiana, you're thinking about Penn State second and Ohio State first. That's what I'm trying to say.
Just saying, if you're okay.
I just
they could probably get 3-star talent.
Yeah, honestly, they can get 4.
Yeah.
They can get 4 in that area. They can get 4.
So
they won't be bums.
No.
But in that conference, that is such a difficult conference, man.
Oh yeah.
Who knows if they can keep this up? I mean,
right.
They, like you said, a 2-game schedule, and they only played Ohio State in the regular season.
Yep.
I mean, once they have to play the former Pac teams? I mean, Oregon.
Right.
Oregon would kill them. USC, who isn't very good, would kill them.
Penn State, even. I mean, delicious.
Penn State would beat that team.
Yeah.
Penn State would beat that team 30 to 17. It wouldn't be they'd score points.
Yeah.
But Penn State would would definitely be the better team,
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say about Indiana. I don't want to waste airtime on them.
Yep. That's
you go with that?
Yep.
Yeah. But yes, good season for Indiana. Miracle season for Indiana. So let's be fair. Okay, second round. These are the games I want to talk about. Even though 3 of these were blowouts, like we just said. I have a lot to say about these games, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to start with the best one. Texas, Arizona State. Okay. I have the awareness, Eric, that there are actually some Arizona State fans who listen to this.
Okay.
I was shocked when I heard this, but apparently it's true.
Wow.
So I saw a lot of you blowhards online trying to complain about the missed penalty, which is fair. The missed targeting, that's fair. Mm-hmm. No argument. However, if you're complaining about one penalty, you don't deserve the win. If you're looking at one play, that's not how it works.
The game doesn't come down to one play like that.
It does not.
It's just that's just not.
How about you don't let Texas, go down the field on the next drive? Right. How about that? Can you stop that?
Yeah.
I just felt that the Arizona State fans in response to this game were very childish.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't even they had a good year, man.
Oh,
this is
a miracle year. They were projected for third to last in the Big 12, and they in Colorado were near the bottom of the Big 12, and one of them almost made the conference championship game, and the other one won. I mean, that's incredible.
This is a good team, man. They competed up there with one of the top in the SEC at the moment.
Yes, they did. There's no shame, guys. It's a miracle season.
And and
Scadaboo, what a talent. He can be a little, a little too Hollywood for my liking. Posing for the cameras. A lot of that crap.
Okay.
However, his talent, I mean, he was making some of his runs and some of the effort he was giving on those runs. I mean, it was insane.
I mean, they gave him the ball 30 times. It's really all.
It was all him. He threw for a touchdown. I mean, it was it was crazy. I don't think we gave the set. Guys, Texas won 39-31. I don't think we said that at the beginning. And they won in 2 overtimes.
Yep.
So you were still getting drives.
Yeah.
In overtime. So it wasn't the 2-point crap. But yeah, this game was definitely the best. The second round, obviously. I mean, look, Scadaboo was the heart and soul of that roster, and he delivered for that program.
Yeah.
He poured his heart and soul into it. But yeah, guys, I mean, Texas again is just on another. Is in another level. Mm-hmm. It's on another level rather, and once the lights get bright, you just it's hard for a Big 12 team.
Yeah.
Formerly Pac team. To really compete with that.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
Agreed, but I mean, good game though, man.
It was a very good game. I had a blast
this
watching
surprised
this.
me.
I had a blast watching this. I thought Texas would blow them out.
Yeah.
I think most people thought Texas would blow them out.
And everyone knew that, Cam Skadby, everyone knows he's legit, but it's just a matter of stopping him. It's like Ashton Genty in Boise State. If you stop him, you're going to win the game.
Yeah.
So, and Texas had a hard time stopping him.
Yeah.
99 yards receiving, too. So, he was doing everything.
He was doing everything.
He's a special talent, man.
He is.
It's fun to watch.
He is. I agree. But yeah, good for Texas. This was an incredible win.
Mm-hmm.
This is a win that fan base will remember for a long time, regardless of what happened the following week. Seriously, regardless of that, this was an incredible game.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on to the Rose Bowl. What? Oh my God! 34-0. 34-0. Wow. Okay, we need to eat crow. This is a brutal prediction. We were so wrong.
As an Ohio State fan, I mean, I picked him in my ESPN bracket in the bracket challenge.
That's irrelevant when you didn't make that prediction on this podcast.
That's true.
That is irrelevant.
But who knew they were going to come in and do this, man?
34-0. If you had told me they would lead 34-0 in the first half, I'd be like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Because Oregon is too good. But no, they literally they stomped all over them. The game was over halfway through the second quarter.
Possibly the first, even. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Look at these stat lines: 187 receiving yards for Jeremiah Smith with 2 TDs, 94 rushing yards for Henderson with 2 TDs, and then Will Howard has 3 passing TDs with 319 yards.
Yeah,
that is like every single facet, every area of that team delivered.
Yep.
Passing, rushing, blocking, defense. I mean, special teams. Everything came together.
Yeah.
Everything. It was a flawless performance against the number 1 team in the country on a neutral field on the opposite side of the country.
Yeah.
And that is
we were even saying, since this is in California, this is going to be an easy trip down just from Oregon. We know Ohio State fans travel well,
they travel very well.
We thought it was going to be like 60-40?
I thought it would be 60-40 Oregon.
So,
it was 65-35 Ohio State.
Really? Wow.
I think so. I mean, at least from the bird's eye view.
But, I mean,
just
guys, for Oregon also.
Horrible for Oregon, I agree. We've said, at least I've said, Dylan Gabriel,
he's all right.
He's fine. Yep. Yeah, he gets the job done. He doesn't make a ton of mistakes, but he's not, dynamic. And frankly, 21 points in a playoff game, especially a New Year's Six Bowl, which is technically what the Rose Bowl was, is respectable. 21 points in a New Year's Six game, I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah.
But when your defense is doing what they did against Ohio State, you need to do way more, and Dylan Gabriel is not capable or talented enough to, go that extra mile.
Yeah.
He needed to go the extra mile for Oregon to beat this team, and he's not capable of that.
Right, but
he's capable of getting up to the line. He's not capable of going over the line. That's how I would describe
it. Yes, but I feel like you just can't put all the blame on Dylan Gabriel.
No, the defense was atrocious.
Defense, 41 points. You gotta stop Jeremiah Smith. Yeah. I mean, you should be circled on your everything. I mean, he's the best freshman in the country.
On the prep board, literally just write, stop Jeremiah Smith and circle it over and over and over and over and over.
Stop Jeremiah Smith, you got to stop.
I'll tell you what.
Everybody
He
else.
is what Marvin Harrison Jr. was in his last season. And Marvin Harrison Jr. in his last season was as good as his dad. If he continues to develop and get better, which there's no indication that he won't develop.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this might be absurd. He's NFL Hall of Famer. If he continues to develop like this, what I watched him do, is just ridiculous. I mean, he is like a whole other stratosphere from everyone else on Ohio State, and Ohio State still has the couple, some of the best receivers in the country below him. Yeah. But he's in a separate stratosphere from them. I mean, he is so good. You can watch him play for hours and just be mesmerized. Like, my jaw was on the floor watching him play in this game.
Yeah.
And the following game, too. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's just insane. Yeah, he's insane.
This team's real good.
I'm simping this guy right now. I mean,
people say, "Oh, you built that $20 million roster. You just paid for it." So did Oregon and Texas.
And also remember they paid to keep people they had. They didn't pay for the new people. Smith, they didn't really pay him too much compared to Jack Sawyer and all the people who have been there for a long time.
But people are using this money thing as an excuse, but Oregon had the higher paid roster.
Penn State had, I think, $14 million poured into the team. And frankly, let's just be honest. Right now, Penn State is planning a huge renovation of Beaver Stadium. Over the next 3 years, they think they're going to get it done in 3 years. I have no idea how that's going to happen. But they just demolished the press box a couple weeks ago. It was a fun video on Instagram. But they're pouring $700 million into those renovations, and it needs to be done as someone who's been to that stadium frequently. But after those renovations are done, I fully expect the board to give Franklin more money for the roster. Now they're thinking long term, as they should. But other teams are going to start paying $20 million. What Ohio State's doing isn't again, it's not. They're not doing anything wrong.
Right.
They're utilizing NIL, and they are the team that had. Penn State has as much money as Ohio State, but Ohio State this season was able to pour more of their funds into the actual team.
Yeah.
And they're playing the game better than the other teams. I mean, you can't get upset at Ohio State for that.
No, it's just
they're just playing the game.
Execution, man, and
flawless execution.
Ryan Day he's saving himself right now.
Oh, obviously, yes.
I mean, I after the Michigan game, just so many Ohio State fans just overreacted. Oh, get him fired!
I saw before the Tennessee game, they did a special on game day where what's his name, Marty Smith, isn't that the guy on ESPN? The guy with the beard and the ginger hair. I think that's his name. We'll call him Marty Smith. He went to a bar in Columbus, and they were asking Marty Smith. I got it right. They were asking Ohio State fans questions, and he was like, "Okay," and I'm making the record up. Ryan Day is 66-4 against teams other than Michigan.
Yeah.
Again, I'm making up the record, but that kind of ridiculous record.
Right.
And one of the fans looked at Marty Smith dead in the eyes, straight face, and said, "I would rather go 4-66 with those 4 wins being Michigan."
That's just a ridiculous thing to say.
I agree with you, but that's what the fan base thinks. And so I think they definitely overreacted because their performance in these 3 playoff games has been pretty remarkable.
Yeah. Now they're definitely using that loss as fuel because.
Oh yeah, that's the best thing that ever happened to them.
Agreed. I know. Yeah.
That's the best thing that ever happened to them.
That was a horrible loss. They should have never lost that game. I don't know what.
But they were able to use the second chance mentality, and they were able to use the "we have to prove ourselves" mentality. And then Ryan Day had the "my family's in jeopardy" mentality, and all of it came together, and it delivered these games where you can't ask for better execution.
And it would just be a horrible idea to let him walk, even if they lost to Oregon.
I don't think he's top 3 coaches, but he's top 10. I mean, you can't get rid of that. You're not getting a better coach than Ryan Day.
No, definitely not. I mean, you could get Chip Kelly. Move him up to head coach.
Sure, but
he's the OC for a reason.
No, Chip Kelly at his peak. Let's be fair. At his peak, when he was with Philadelphia, or Philadelphia as I like to call it, with the Eagles, he was such a brilliant offensive mind that Bill Belichick, the smartest coach in the history of the sport, was ripping him off.
Yeah.
His scheming. That's how smart Chip Kelly is. But we saw what happened at UCLA. There comes a time where no more. You can't do it.
Right.
And I think OC is where Chip Kelly belongs at this point.
Yeah.
He's not at the stage of his career. He's not at the stage of his career where he can go into these 17-year-old kids' homes, put on a happy face, and say, "Hey guys, play for me."
Bill Belichick's doing it.
Let's do a sidebar on that because I need to say, Bill Belichick to North Carolina is going to be such a disaster that it's actually going to be funny for me to watch.
Do you not? Yeah.
Do you think a 70-year-old man is going to again walk into these 17-year-old kids' homes and recruit them?
And especially Bill Belichick, like you see him on game day, or even like in interviews.
McAfee, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like no personality.
No personality at all.
Oh, yeah, come play for me. That's what he's gonna say.
He's brilliant, but here's the thing: a brilliant mind with an ACC roster of that caliber is 8-4.
Yep.
And that's like the stars aligning. 8-4.
I don't know. I think they can. They'll eventually make the playoffs under Belichick.
You have more optimism than I do, buddy. You have more optimism than me.
Because people are just gonna want to play for because it's Bill Belichick.
Sure, that's fair. That's very potent.
I don't mind that hire, just because it's like
okay. I don't think it's gonna work out. But Dallas.
Yeah,
I can guarantee you, he's kicking himself right now.
Oh yeah,
that McCarthy left.
Yeah.
But anyway. That's off topic. We had to talk about that. Chip Kelly, at this point in his career, he's not a head coach. He still has that brilliant offensive mind, and that's why he's really working as an OC. But he's not a head coach anymore. He's just not. So you got to work with Ryan Day, and Ryan Day's a very good coach. The fact that they got him right after losing probably one of the top 2 or 3 coaches in the history of that program in Urban Meyer, that's the AD, what a job.
Yeah.
Getting him.
Yeah.
But yeah, Oregon, Dan Lanning, I mean, he kept the team in it. I mean, it was 34-0, and they got 21 points after that. So, I mean, I guess
they started that comeback a little bit too late. Like, their defense.
Yeah. They were starting to come back, but it was way too late to start the comeback.
This defense for Ohio State is just too talented.
Yeah.
I mean, Cody Simon had 7 tackles, 4 assists, 2 sacks. Like, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then this receiving core is just the best in college football at the moment. Carnell Tate, he's wide receiver 3, and he'll be starting in most places. Emeka Ibuka is going to be probably second round.
I am impressed because here's the thing with NIL, and I think the results of the playoff are really showing this. I mean, look at Georgia and Alabama and not getting into the Final Four. I think this is really where that's coming in, where NIL has changed it so drastically where you're not having players sit on the bench anymore. You're not having, Arch Manning's that outlier. If you're talented, you're going to go into the transfer portal and you're going to get a starting gig.
Mm-hmm.
And in the past, these SEC schools would stockpile this talent and get these second and third string players who are 5 stars, but now those second and third stringers are transferring.
Right.
So it's spreading the, I don't know if it's like, it's only one season, so I don't think we can officially call it parity with the SEC. But I mean, Notre Dame getting into the national championship.
Yeah.
Because Marcus Freeman used the portal brilliantly. And Notre Dame is one of those programs where these SEC second and third stringers are willing to go. So it really is fascinating. And I think that, that's definitely a theme.
Well, honestly,
of the playoff.
Now with Notre Dame's success in the playoffs at the moment, they honestly might be pulling away with some recruits even from the SEC.
Let's move over to Notre Dame as we talk about this. So we'll talk about Notre Dame, Georgia, because and continue. Sorry.
Yeah, but I feel like they might even pull away from some of these because SEC didn't even play, or like the SEC in the playoffs didn't even play like that great. Texas played good.
Texas was pretty good. Yeah,
but other teams just got
Georgia
played. No, actually, they didn't play good. Anyway, well. I'm just.
Although I gotta say, Gunnar Stockton wasn't awful. Wasn't his fault. Okay. Anyway, Notre Dame won 23-10. Riley Leonard, the quarterback draw killed Georgia. I mean, he ran and ran and ran
for
some
80
more.
yards on 14 carries.
That is insane for a quarterback.
Yeah, he led the team in rushing.
Yeah.
Not even Jeremiah. They did a good job of stopping Jeremiah Love.
Well, yeah, because remember he got injured.
Yeah, and then they brought in Jadarian Price.
Yeah.
Only rushed for 37 yards on 10 carries. That's not great.
The quarterback draw. That's what killed Georgia.
Yeah.
There's the summary of your game, guys. The quarterback draw.
Just running miles over them. And we predicted this game. We said if Carson Beck doesn't play, Notre Dame wins, and they did.
Yeah.
And then Carson Beck hits the transfer portal, goes to Miami. So
for $4 million, he's going to get paid more than like starters in the NFL.
Yeah, and that's just ridiculous, man. Carson Beck is
not
good enough to be getting paid that kind of money.
I agree. He is not worth it. They think he's going to be Cam Ward. He is not.
No.
He is not. If they are in the top 15 next year, I would be stunned. I'll say it right now. You heard it here.
Their defense sucks, and now Carson Beck is horrible.
He's not horrible, but he's not. But he's not. He's not a top 10 QB.
He's not that. Exactly.
He's not a top 10 QB. He's not a playoff caliber QB. He's not.
No, it's like
that is not going to work out for Miami. But they're desperate. They're like, they need it.
Cam Ward lead.
They're desperate, so they're like, give him $4 million. You know, they're desperate.
I mean, why not? It's whatever, but it doesn't. It's not that big of a deal. But
there's really not much to say about Georgia, man. I mean, they were.
Yeah, Trevor Etienne.
They were hampered.
Down.
They were hampered. Yeah,
yep.
I mean, that's
10 points is just horrible.
Yeah,
that's just like
against Notre Dame, who has a very good defense.
Yeah,
but an offense with those kinds of weapons should be able to score more than 10.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean,
2 scores.
Oscar Delp only had 2 catches for 18 yards.
That's ridiculous. And Oscar Delp was one of their best players.
Right, he was
on offense.
Yeah, way down there on the receiving.
Yeah, but I mean, this was a game where like the entire second half. I mean, you were just like,
yeah.
Get to the end.
Arian Smith 1 catch for 67 yards.
He dropped a couple. He's a disaster. He's dropped more balls.
He has drop issues.
He has so horrible drops.
So good, man.
Yeah.
If he just don't, he's so fast off the line.
He has the speed.
Yeah, but
he doesn't have the
hands.
Yeah.
Put him at like cornerback or something, because guys on defense can't catch.
Honestly, going the Adoree Jackson route might be the way to go for him. Because Adoree Jackson had the speed but didn't have the hands. You know.
Mm-hmm. But that catch that he did have got called back. If you remember,
a
late flag was thrown because the side judge collided with Parker Jones, and it held
them to a field goal, which momentum wise probably was a big factor in that game.
Yeah, because the official ran into a walk on the sidelines. He was jumping around because of a 6-7 yard play.
Yeah. I feel bad for him. I mean,
online, everyone's ripping him and blaming him for this. But
can you get too angry at him? Like, if you're Kirby Smart, Kirby Smart probably talked to him and was like, it's really like it's not your fault. Like, you can't get that angry.
I don't know.
Honestly, I really don't.
I didn't see Kirby Smart's reaction in the moment.
Neither did I.
Probably wasn't like, because we would have seen it if he was blowing up on him.
Oh, so absolutely.
Probably just, hey, take a step back and sit on the bench and warm it. But, that killed them because they looked like they were going to score a touchdown.
Yeah, it did. That was the drive where I was like, you guys finally have life.
Yeah.
And then field goal.
Yep.
Boom.
And it just sucks because, it's not really his fault. But
Nope. But here's the thing. Winning the SEC with the number 1 strength of schedule.
Yeah.
My dad was like, guys, this playoff is gravy. I mean, everything else is just on top of the fact that we had the number 1 strength of schedule and won the conference. I mean, that's remarkable. You beat the same team twice.
Yeah.
Do you realize how difficult that is?
Yep.
Ohio State couldn't do that.
Nope.
They couldn't.
Almost. But they didn't. So.
That's fair. Almost they did. But seriously, like, it just, not much to say about Georgia. They'll be obviously back next year.
They're fine. It doesn't matter.
They're fine. They didn't need this. They're coming off. They're a few years removed from back-to-back.
Yep.
They're fine. Okay, let's talk real quick about Penn State Boise. Okay, Aller was a little better in this game. Woohoo! Yay!
Penn State won 31-14. Allitter just 171 yards, 3 touchdowns.
107.
What is he? They won, but come on.
So Penn State did what they had to do. They limited Genty.
Yep.
And they forced.
Limited had 104 yards, but
they limited him enough. But remember, that's he had one big run. Mm-hmm. It was like a 50, 60-yard run.
He had 30 carries.
Yeah, but literally 28 of those were for 3 yards or less.
Right.
So keep that in mind. They held him. They limited him. He had one big run in this game. Mm-hmm. They forced the ball into the quarterback's hands. They forced the quarterback to win the game. They said, okay, quarterback, you want to beat us? Win the game yourself. And the quarterback was pretty good, but he wasn't great. He wasn't good enough to beat Penn State.
He played all right. 300 yards is good.
Yeah.
3 interceptions is not.
Oh, yeah, there were 3 interceptions, weren't there?
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I thought there was only one.
One touchdown.
I forgot about the other 2 interceptions. Honestly, I mean, that's not a horrible performance.
Not horrible.
But when again the ball is in your hands, you need to do better than that.
And this Penn State defense, they're legit. I know they were starting out slow all year and letting up a lot of points, but
it's one of the best. They're top 5 defense in the country.
Abdul Carter's going to be a first-round pick.
Abdul Carter should be
10?
top 10.
Yeah.
I mean, for a hot minute. Honestly, Abdul Carter. Now that the Pats are 4, they might go with Carter at 4. Let's get the NFL draft order, guys. Sorry for the little interlude. I want to look at this.
But in the meantime, Katron Allen was just running all over him. Also, he had 134 yards on 17 carries. Yeah. So Nick Singleton played good too.
I got it. Okay, so you got Titans, Browns, Giants, Pats. Honestly, the Browns. Because think about it, Deshaun just tweaked the Achilles again. He's going to be out for next year too.
Cam Ward.
You need a quarterback. Titans.
They're going to ruin another quarterback. But it's
they didn't ruin Mayfield. Let's be fair.
Well, they didn't ruin. Well, they didn't.
They didn't ruin it,
but
he wasn't what he is in Tampa.
They would have never let him.
So the Titans are going to take a QB because Levis is done. He's a disgrace. Titans will get a QB. Browns will get a QB.
It's going to be Schroeder.
Schroeder and Cam Ward. One of them will go to the Titans and one of them will go to the Browns. Schroeder and Cam Ward.
Schroeder goes to the Titans.
You think they go with him over Ward?
Yeah, I mean
I think he's the better choice because I'm really becoming a fan of the dual threat.
Yeah, and that's the way the game is played at the moment.
In college more so than the NFL, but I think
starting the NFL. I mean, that's where they get the players from, like you said a few weeks ago.
You're right, but again, I think Lamar is starting to make the dual threat more viable in the NFL.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But the Giants, that's probably. They need a quarterback too. Literally, the top 3 need a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So the Patriots, do you go with Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter?
The receiving core isn't horrible, honestly.
So you go with Carter.
Yeah.
Malik is a great. Malik's a talent, man.
Yeah. He looked good versus the Bills.
Yeah.
So
anyway, we're getting off topic.
We're not talking about the NFL. This is college football.
I'm just saying the Patriots don't need a quarterback because they have Drake May, so you might go with Abdul Carter.
Yeah.
But I bring all that up to say Abdul Carter is an incredible talent.
Yep.
He was fantastic in this game before he got hurt. Katron Allen had the game of his freaking life. Mm-hmm. This was the best he has ever been. I was shocked how well he played because he's not very fast.
No.
They always tried to do the fade run to the sideline, and the linebackers always catch up to him because he's not fast enough.
Yeah.
But what was it? 134 rushing yards?
Yep.
That's the best game of his career by far.
And 17 carries, that's a good amount, but that's not insane.
No.
He played better than Ass and Genty, and he had way more carries, 30.
Yeah. Warren, okay.
Yeah. And
Warren didn't do great in these playoffs.
No.
He's fine.
He had 6 receptions here, 63 yards, 2 touchdowns.
He was passable.
Yeah. That's a good game.
Sure.
But
yeah, this game was, again, I barely paid attention to it, and I'm a fan. You weren't missing much if you didn't watch this.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay, let's move on to the 2 big ones.
Yep.
Okay, do you want to do Ohio State first?
Sure. So, Ohio State won 28-14 against Texas in a close game for a long time. I was getting nervous towards the end there. Yeah. Jack Sawyer saves the day.
That is the play of the year.
But, yeah.
That's the play of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about clutch. Oh, my God. I can only imagine being an Ohio State fan being in that building when Sawyer ran that back.
Yeah, and look, Texas, they blew that game, man. That play should have never happened. Run the ball there.
Yeah.
Why are you running a pitch play? It's not going to work. Those pitch plays, especially versus Ohio State, top, honestly, might be the best defense in the nation. Arguably.
Up there.
Especially inside the 5. Yeah. I mean, how many times they let in a touchdown inside the 5? Not many.
But again, Ewers, he's so overrated, dude.
Mm-hmm.
He's so overrated.
Yeah.
That interception was awful.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
Yeah. And I understand. I mean, he's just trying to.
Sure, I understand that, but like.
You just got to take shots.
Yeah.
No, but but inside the 5, like, what? They're on the 1-yard line, calls a pitch play that draws them back 7 yards. That's a ridiculous play call. They ran it up the gut, then they run that end around, then they try and go to the air twice in a row. It's just that's just ridiculous. Coaching mistake.
You go into the air immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting. I mean, I said it while I was watching the game, but you're not going to get in running the ball because this Ohio State, you're just not going to get in.
They're good.
I understand Jaden Blue. He had a decent game rushing.
It was okay.
Through the air was better, but I mean,
no, Sarkisian, for as good of a coach as he is, he makes some real boneheaded calls. You know,
matters. I mean,
like for a good coach, he made some boneheaded. He made some boneheaded calls against Arizona State, and he survived.
Yep, barely, but still.
But he survived, and this team was too good for those mistakes to not come back and bite him in the butt.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't. When you're in the semifinals of the college football playoffs, you got to be at the top of your game. You can't be gambling like this.
Yep.
Especially with the game on the line. I understand you're trying to get cute. It's just not going to work versus Ryan Day's defense.
No. I mean, look, Penn State. Perfect example.
Yeah, exactly.
20-13. Penn State had a chance at the goal line, and Franklin got cute, and Ohio State's defense was too good to get cute on.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened with Texas.
Yeah.
The same thing.
Now, they did a great job of shutting down Jeremiah Smith in this game. And they were bracketing him with 3 cornerback, a safety, and a linebacker.
They went above and beyond on him.
1 reception, 3 yards, 3 targets.
3 targets.
That is
3 targets.
But, you eliminate him. You're bracketing it with 3 defensive players, but they also have 2 other receivers.
And Tate had a pretty good game.
Tate was the leading receiver, 7 receptions, 87 yards, no touchdowns.
That's a pretty good game. That's not like an amazing game, but it's really solid.
Man, he didn't play that good.
No.
5 receptions, 51 yards.
Yeah.
He's like,
Texas really, they did their homework. They did their homework.
Yeah.
But in the end, Sarkisian's play calling did him in.
It was horrible. Especially, I mean, they had played that's just such a horrible way to end it.
And here's the $1 million question. Will Marcus Freeman make those boneheaded mistakes?
I don't think so, to be honest.
So
I mean, I still think Ohio State's just going to destroy. But maybe not destroy. They're winning.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll get there. We'll get there.
But whatever. Will Howard didn't even play that good. 289 yards, TD, interception.
Yeah,
interception. That's not that good.
Yeah. I just feel this.
And when you're at the 1-yard line, earlier in the game, they brought Manning in on that 4th and 1. They got like 8 yards.
Why didn't they use him?
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of like the Steelers using Justin Fields.
Yeah.
RPO situations.
But it got to the point where when Fields would come into the game, all the team, the opposition was Baltimore in the playoff game just now was like, yep, RPO, and they were ready for it.
Yeah.
Like I understand that Sarkisian doesn't want that to happen with Manning, but then have Manning throw the ball.
Right.
Manning can throw the ball. Manning is a better player than Fields. Manning has an arm.
Fields can throw, but
but he's not Manning.
Yeah.
His use of Manning was so weird.
You have to bring him in that situation.
I agree.
You just have to
tie the game.
Ewers is not going to get it done.
At this point, it's obvious. And what's weird, Ewers is the one who got all the commercials. He's the one who got out of anyone. He probably got the most NIL money because with that Dr. Pepper deal. I mean, think about how much money he made this year.
Mm-hmm.
Think about how much money he made. And you play like that? Woo!
Yeah.
Yikes.
I mean, yeah. It's not completely Ura's fault.
No. Sarkisian's play calling was not good.
It was, yeah.
I would probably, if I don't think it's fair to like put it on, well, I'm about to do it with Penn State. I don't think it's fair to put a loss on one person, but if I had to, it would be Sarkisian.
Right, because I agree. I honestly think it's his fault. This team executed, man. They came to play. The game planning was good. His play calls were good up until that point, but it happened to be the biggest moment of the game. So. Yeah. Jack Sawyer, he's not going to be paying for anything in Columbus.
Jack Sawyer, they will, he can go into a bar for the rest of his life. They will give him money. They'll pay for him.
For free.
Yep.
And Sonny Styles, he's just, you can just go down the list, man. This defense is NFL caliber.
Yeah. We'll touch on that in our national championship preview.
Yeah.
But, yeah, impressive win.
Mm-hmm.
Impressive win against a really solid Texas team. For all the criticism we just gave them, they're still really good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so.
It's just that one play that just happened. It's just not good. It just sucks.
That's fair.
This is a good team.
Moving on to Notre Dame Penn State.
Yeah.
Let's get this baby-faced loser out of State College, eh? Okay, let's be nice. I'm not going to be nice. Let's try to be nice. Okay, so Eric, what do we have on that?
Yeah, so Notre Dame wins at 27-24, close game. Mm-hmm. Jeremiah Love. Look, Jeremiah Love he's a great talent.
They held him in the first half?
Honestly, whole game, 11 carries, 45 yards, and a touchdown. That's not great.
Honestly, 43 of those were in the second half.
Second
half he was starting.
Yeah. Shutout in the first quarter, then the scoring started to pick up, but this defense played good, and 27 points it's all right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so I was at this game too. I was at the Orange Bowl. My friends and I, we flew down to Miami. We had a nice couple days there. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. I was kind of okay walking out of that stadium, even though it was a last-second loss. I honestly was fine, and I'll tell you why, because I knew that they avoided a 41-10 slaughter. Let's be real. Yeah. I mean, obviously the Ohio State game hadn't happened yet, but I was so confident that Ohio State would beat Texas that I knew what the outcome would be. Yeah, look, this is a great season. This is the best season Franklin's had as the head coach of Penn State. And I never thought I'd see the day, Eric, where I watched a Penn State team lose, a James Franklin Penn State team lose a big game, and it wasn't Franklin's fault.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd see the day. It wasn't cute play calling that did him in. It was Drew Aller.
Yes.
It is all him.
Oh, that reception.
That forced throw on the last drive. Guys, I just, again, I didn't get angry. I was just so apathetic towards this team. I was just so deflated.
Yeah. Look, we saw it coming. I mean, they had the easiest, Texas probably had the easiest road to the semifinals.
With how good Arizona State was?
Well, okay. Sure. But
I would argue Penn State's I would argue Penn State's path was much easier.
Yeah. We knew it was coming, that they were going to lose.
Yeah. But, I mean, a lot of people were picking Penn State going in. Let's be fair. A lot of people were.
Me.
I didn't either. My gut told me Notre Dame.
Yeah.
In a close one. I didn't think they'd get blown out.
For sure.
I didn't think they'd get blown out at all. But yeah, man, Drew Aller missed so many throws.
Mm-hmm.
He missed so many wide open throws. He missed the throw to Singleton, which forced a field goal, and clearly that did them in.
Yep.
That clearly did them in.
Yeah.
It was just, just a really horrible performance on his part. He was terrible in all three playoff games. All three playoff games, he did not
really have a game where it was like, okay, wow. Like, and even against these defenses, man. Like, SMU, you put up 300 yards at least.
Thank you. Yeah.
Like,
it's SMU. You got to do it. On your home field.
Yeah.
There were 2 receptions by a wide receiver.
Yeah.
2.
Yep.
2 receptions.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just, oh my God. I was like, wow. I mean, seriously, all Aller. Every single issue in this game was Aller. Every single one. It wasn't Franklin. It really wasn't. And I can't believe I'm saying that because normally it's Franklin's fault. But it's not his fault this time. Let's talk about Notre Dame. What resiliency, man. Down 10-0. Making a great drive to end the half. Kicking the field goal at the buzzer. And then just coming out like they always do. Last 2 minutes of the first half, first 2 minutes of the second half. This team is just like a gift from God. I mean, they're just otherworldly. And then a fourth quarter for the ages. I mean, that fourth quarter was incredible. I don't think this is an all-time game. Like, I don't think this is a game that people are going to be like, oh, man.
Oh,
where were you? No. The fourth quarter was, but not the game.
Yeah, it was a good game up until that point. But
no, the game was okay up until the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Then it became a great game.
Yeah.
But if it had been a great game up until the fourth quarter, then the fourth quarter would have made it a classic. Right. This isn't a classic. But yeah, no, Penn State, the defense was so good. Yeah, it was all Aller's fault. And seriously, I'm honestly, guys, I'm really not that upset. We walked to the Uber pickup from Hard Rock. It was a 50-minute walk through sand and grass. It was basically like a trek to Mecca to get to this freaking Uber. And we were surrounded by these, Penn State fans. They were all Penn State fans because it was a predominantly Penn State crowd. And honestly, the vibe that you got, because you get a vibe when you go on these things. And the vibe was not a lot of anger. It was just apathy.
Yeah.
And that's worse than anger, to be honest with you. Here's the $1 million question. Drew Aller was awful last year. Awful. And then they got a new OC, and he developed Aller, and Aller got better. But then Aller hit a wall. Playoffs. Right? He had, clearly the Oregon game is the outlier. That is crystal clear. Ohio State and then the 3 playoff games, that's the norm for him in these big games. So the question is, will Aller continue to develop and continue to improve under Kotelnicki?
He's starting to run out of time.
He has one more season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He has one more. And right now, he's a 4th-round draft pick, if that.
Yeah.
That's best case scenario in my eyes. So
like if he has a good year, next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and especially like losing like a game like this, and even struggling versus defenses who aren't like top 10, top 15 even in the nation. And you're putting up 100 yards.
That SMU game was more telling to me than Notre Dame. That SMU game, I was like, this guy, he's not ready.
Yeah.
He's just not. It was the right call to not go to the draft. You would have been way lower. You'd have been 7th or 8th round.
And this quarterback class isn't great.
It's not. I mean, I'm not even convinced Sanders and Ward will be legit NFL players. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Honestly, I'm really not that upset about Penn State. I was just, because again, we predicted it. And yeah, it was all on Aller.
Yeah.
All on him.
Yep.
Let's talk about Notre Dame real quick.
Okay.
Like I said, really, really respectable resiliency. They just again, they have a ton of heart. They have, it sickens me to say this, they have a very good fan base, who delivers when, they need a crowd.
Yeah.
Leonard is a really solid college QB. Mm-hmm. He will never be drafted into the NFL, but that doesn't matter. He's Trace McSorley. I look at Riley Leonard and I see Trace McSorley. And Trace McSorley, we all forget, almost led Penn State to the 14 playoff. Leonard's on that level, and that works really well in college.
Yeah.
He made the right move leaving Duke, and it's paying dividends, and they're about to get killed, but it's still a great season.
Like, this is
a great
season.
This is huge for Marcus Freeman. He was starting.
I like Marcus Freeman.
I like him more and more.
Yeah.
He's not arrogant. He's respectful. I mean,
always puts the team first.
He always puts the team first. He got irked in the press conference with Penn State with that age thing because they were trying to compare the two black coaches with their age.
Yeah, he hates being compared.
And Franklin was like, "Oh yeah, someone implied that Franklin was like the seasoned veteran, and he got upset at that.
Yeah.
So that was but he was using that for motivation for the team, and that's less of a reflection of him.
Right.
But yeah, Marcus Freeman, Kirby Smart, there are coaches out there where you hear them speak, and you're like, they are just so respectful.
Yeah.
Of the other side, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I could say that about Ryan Day, but we saw the Michigan game. Just saying. I know you don't want to hear that, but that scuffle, he's never gonna escape that. But yeah, well, so that's really all I have on this game.
Yep.
Again, it was a good time in Miami though. We got to go to like the Science Museum and
cool.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean,
you made a trip out of it, so that's good.
And we had a good time.
It's not like you guys got blown out, so it's
no. And seriously, I did not get that heartbroken at the end. I mean, I was disappointed, but I expected the loss, so it made it easier.
Yep.
Okay, national championship prediction, guys. So we have Ohio State and we have Notre Dame 7-8. I think that is crazy. Yeah. 7 versus 8. I just think it's going to be an Ohio State slaughter.
Yeah.
I think that this Ohio State team, the fact that they have taken that Michigan loss, and they have, in 3 straight games, after an extended break, used that to dominate in every facet of the imagination 2 teams, and then play extremely well against the third team. Notre Dame isn't as good as Texas. I mean,
no.
I do not see Notre Dame winning this game. This Ohio State team has some of the best college receivers you're ever going to see.
Yep.
And
just year after year, they just keep producing these NFL caliber receivers.
It's unfair that they get Jeremiah Smith immediately after Marvin Harrison. It's unfair.
And then Garrett Wilson and
Garrett Wilson,
history. Chris Olave.
Yeah. Chris Olave, you're right.
It never ends. It never ends.
No, they get so many. I mean, if you're a receiver, why wouldn't you go to Ohio State at this point?
Wide receiver university.
It really is wide receiver university. This was. I really feel this is the easiest prediction of the entire history of this podcast.
Easier than
and I got to tell you, as a Penn State fan, I'm going to be rooting for Ohio State like nobody's business. I hate Notre Dame. I hate them so much, dude.
You wouldn't want to see the team that beat you guys by 3 win the championship?
By 7.
Or, yeah.
And yes.
It makes sense for Penn State.
Well, I guess it does, but that's honestly not why I'm saying that. I wasn't even thinking like that when you said that, but you're right. No, it's freaking... It's Notre Dame. I hate them. I mean, everyone hates them, man. They think they're... Okay, let's say this. Notre Dame is on this... They feel that they are like the pinnacle of college football. You know, football for 150 years. We're Notre Dame. You're not. Right? And they feel like they are on the peak of this sport, and they haven't won a national championship since '88. I mean, that is like 35 years. I mean, you can't make this up.
Yeah.
So the fan base, like I just said, they were loyal, but they're also a miserable lot. And I'm not the biggest I'm not the biggest fan of the Ohio State fan base, but they're not Notre Dame fans. I mean, they're not delusional like Notre Dame fans. So I just honestly, this is like the World Series where the Yankees played the Dodgers, and a family member of mine asked me who I was rooting for. I said the Nuke. I mean, in an ideal world, the stadium will blow up. when Ohio State and Notre Dame walked in.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, that's my dream, but a kid can dream. But honestly, I am rooting for Ohio State. I mean, against two teams I don't like, I have to pick the one I hate the least out of the two, and that is Ohio State.
Yeah.
I hate Michigan more than Ohio State.
Huh.
So, I mean, you have to hate Michigan more than Penn State.
Oh.
Yeah. I figured.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm rooting for Ohio State.
I don't even hate Penn State, to be honest. Like, we just kill them every year. It's
it's not even a game
anymore. Not even
anymore.
a rival.
It's really not a game anymore. You're right.
I also think Ohio State's going to win this game.
Guys, do they have what's the line? Do you know the line?
OSU opens at -9.5.
Okay, that's fair.
So,
because it's probably going to be like Texas, where it's like a 14-point win. Like, maybe we said.
I don't know. I honestly feel like.
Do you think it's going to be more than that? You think it's going to be a 3-score game?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a 2-score game.
I said 3-score game.
Oh, 3 scores? No.
You don't think it'll be 3 scores? No. So you think it'll be 16 or less?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think Ohio State will cover? Do you think it'll be a 10-point win?
Yeah.
I think so too.
I think so.
I think they cover the spread.
Because look, this team is just too good right now to lose. Not even just lose or win by only 7.
Yeah.
And that's just, I know it's like crazy to say because this is the two best teams. But I just can't see Notre Dame beating them, especially coming off that Texas win. They're riding high.
Yep. They are.
Notre Dame, just their defense isn't good enough to stop all these receivers.
Their defense isn't good enough, and their defense is very good.
Yeah.
But they are not good enough to stop all 3 of those receivers.
No. And then you got to stop Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson on the ground.
God, so much. There's so many people to cover on that Ohio State.
On the defensive side, it's just like.
I mean, there's honestly, going into each defensive play, at least this is from my perspective, I feel like you have to plan for like one person. You have to predict who Will Howard's going to throw the ball to.
Yeah.
Or who he's going to if he passes it off to the running back. And if you're right, you hold them to 5 or less yards on the play.
Yeah.
But that's if you get the player right. And they have too many weapons. All Howard has to do is use his eyes.
Yep.
See that Smith has triple coverage, and you look at his other 2 guys.
And even if nobody's open, Howard can run it a little bit.
A little.
He's not
dual threat, but he can scramble.
Can run.
He can scramble. I just think he can do the quarterback scramble like Riley Leonard can.
Right. Yeah.
Riley Leonard is more of a dual threat than he is, but they both scramble in a similar fashion. I just think this game. I think this game is going to be Ohio State victory.
Yeah.
By. I will say 3 scores. I'll say 17 points.
Okay.
I'll say 17 points, which is technically 3 scores.
Yeah.
That's what I'll go with.
Do you think it's going to be a high-scoring game?
Yes.
Okay.
I do. I think they'll score at least 30 on Notre Dame. They should.
Yeah. That's just so crazy to say. Just because it's like.
But look at the players on their team, man.
Not crazy, not crazy, like you're wrong. It's just like so crazy to say.
Oh, I agree with that.
Like this is just insane. Like this team is just like
they're remarkable.
They just seem right now just unstoppable.
Yeah,
I can't. It's just like after being embarrassing, not just beating embarrassing Oregon.
Oregon? It came down to the last drive. It sucks, but you can toss that aside. I don't understand Michigan. That game makes no sense. Yeah. No. Looking at the rest of the playoffs and how they've unfolded, it's like, how did you lose to Michigan?
Put Michigan and NIU in the national championship.
Oh, my God. Talk about unwatchable. NIU's not even the best team in the MAC.
That's horrible.
They're not even the best team in the MAC.
Yeah, and the MAC is not good.
The MAC's not good. But, yeah, I mean...
it's going to be real tough to stop. And, Notre Dame doesn't have a crazy receiving core. They got Greathouse, who had 400 yards this year.
Greathouse, who
had a couple. That's not right. But, yeah.
They had Greathouse had a couple catches against Penn State, a couple really clutch catches against Penn State. He had a solid season, and he's a really respectable. He's a respectable receiver.
Yeah,
he's not elite, but he's respectable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the prediction. I think Ohio State wins.
Yep.
I'm going to try to give a score.
Okay.
I'm going to say 34-13.
Whoa.
No, dude, look at what Penn State was able to do. They saw that the quarterback draw killed Georgia.
Yep. And
they prepped for it. And it really limited Notre Dame's offense for the first half.
And yeah.
And that game, even with a miraculous fourth quarter, Notre Dame had a miraculous fourth quarter and they still got to only 27.
Right. Exactly.
So if Ohio State makes adjustments, the adjustments that Tom Allen didn't make for Penn State, they can hold Notre Dame to less than 20. They can.
Oh, easily.
They really can.
Easily. They did it with Texas.
Yeah.
And they scored, they
did it to Texas. Why can't they do it to Notre Dame?
They scored 28 points on Texas. And Notre Dame was a worse Texas defense is legit.
Yeah.
They let up 500 yards to Arizona State.
That's what I'm going to go with, 34-13.
Yeah. So, yeah.
34-13. That's my prediction. We'll see how accurate it is.
Yeah.
But I am that confident in this new Ohio State team. I think the offense is that incredible. It's one of the best offensive team performances you're ever going to see.
Yeah.
This is like Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson good.
And that's arguably the best team in college football history.
I would say so because they were undefeated.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they went undefeated in the playoff era, so they had the 15 victories.
Right.
Georgia had the 15 victories as well. But their national championship game was the semifinal against Ohio State. The TCU game was a joke. Yeah. So I don't know if you can call the Georgia team the best team ever. But so you can make an argument for LSU. And that offense was remarkable, and this offense might be that good.
Yeah.
It might be that good.
Yeah, because, LSU, they had Joe Burrow and Jamar and
Justin
Jefferson, but that's it. I mean,
I'd have to look at the roster. No, those are the three that come to mind. Yes.
This Ohio State roster, you're getting
both running backs.
Yeah, Quinshon Judkins, Trayvon Henderson, Jeremiah Smith. I mean,
yep.
I can just keep naming everything.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, I think Ohio State does win this game by we'll say 17, I guess.
Yeah.
That's technically
sleep easy for the next week.
Yeah.
You seriously have nothing to worry about. Literally nothing.
And I was worried, I was going into
which games. So let me ask you this: which games were you worried about going in? Were you worried about Oregon? You can't be worried about it because it's so hard to beat the same team twice. You can't tell me that you were honestly concerned that Ohio State would lose to Oregon.
No, well,
even though we predicted Oregon and didn't really think it through in our immediate bracket reaction. Honestly, but Tennessee, I mean, how could you have been nervous for Tennessee?
Yeah, I definitely wasn't as nervous. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't have done the.
By the time
they were going to come out like that.
Sure. Now, in the aftermath of Tennessee and Oregon, were you confident that you'd beat Texas? I thought it would be a bigger loss for Texas than it was, but I thought Ohio State would. Honestly,
no. Just because of Texas' defense, they're legit, and they closed out that Arizona State game really well.
Okay.
So, I honestly haven't been they're definitely going to beat this team, because Oregon was, top team in the country, obviously, number one seed, number one ranked, and they barely lost,
Sure.
So, so not really nervous. I'm not losing sleep over this game at all.
This Notre Dame,
the Texas game was more than that.
If you don't pay attention to the first half, you're missing nothing.
Right. Check my phone up.
Yeah.
21-0.
Yeah. Exactly.
I hope it goes like that. I hope I'm not
seriously.
I really do.
I don't think you are.
Yeah.
I don't think you are at all.
But so Ohio State will win by a lot.
Probably. What a year.
Yeah.
of ups and I guess a couple downs.
Honestly, just one down. That you can't really say that Oregon game was a down because they played
so well.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was just happened to come down to a loophole mistake.
Yeah,
Will Howard, not
right.
but like they let that clock run down. Whatever, doesn't matter anymore because Oregon's not here anymore. Ohio State is, and what a year for Notre Dame as well. Marcus Freeman, I've touched on how I like him.
He's a very good coach. If he can't honestly leave for the Bears, right?
No.
Why would
the Cowboys?
Why would he even think about leaving Notre Dame? Why would he even think about it? I'd be if I had seen the Tom Pelissero report, I would burst out laughing and then call my agent and say, if I get a phone call from you, I'm firing you. I wouldn't even consider taking the phone call.
Yeah.
Honestly, why would you take them? I mean, that's where McCarthy's going to end up. Let's just be real.
Yep.
That's where, and it's going to be just as embarrassing as every other Bears head coach. But that we're getting off topic again. But honestly, we're getting off topic. But this shows that you and I we really like this stuff and we love talking about all facets of the game. We don't.
Clearly.
Okay, guys. So that has been episode 9 of Catching the Facts. Really long episode. We're at an hour and a half.
Longest yet,
but one of the best yet. I'm so sad that our bracket reveal was not saved. I had so much fun making that episode, and it's a shame that you guys only heard like half of it.
Yeah.
We have a huge announcement. Catching the Facts has more than one episode left. Yay! Yay! Eric's clapping too. Woo-hoo. Okay, guys, so here's the plan. We are going to be covering the rest of the NFL playoffs now that we have the time. So next week, we're going to obviously be doing a national championship breakdown. We're going to be recording it on Tuesday, obviously, because the game's Monday night. So expect next week's Catching the Facts to go up on Wednesday. That would be Wednesday the 22nd. So look for that episode on that date. However, in addition to the national championship next week, we will be talking about the NFL divisional round. So we'll be talking Texans Chiefs, we'll be talking Eagles Rams, we'll be talking Bills Ravens, and we'll be talking Lions Commanders. So we're going to be covering the rest of the NFL playoffs for you guys because honestly, and this is the godforsaken truth, Eric and I have been having so much fun doing the show that we want to have more than one additional episode after the break. So look for that next week. More plans to be announced regarding conference championships and Super Bowl. We have some ideas that he and I are going to discuss. It's going to be fun. So get ready. We're going to have a lot of fun the next couple weeks, the next month or so, doing these episodes for you guys. So you get to listen to us rant for more than 1 week, more than one additional week. So you should be thrilled. And next week is going to be like a full hour-long show, even though there's only one college game to talk about. But he and I will be paying extra attention to the NFL games. I'd say that you and I, right, we're like casual NFL fans as opposed to college football where we're diehard.
I don't know, honestly.
But at least I am. I can't speak for you. But I know enough about the NFL that I'm able to speak about it. And I've been paying attention to the playoffs up to this point. So we got the rest of the NFL games to go. So we're not going to change anything regarding our lettering. Like it says, uncensored view of D1 college football. We're not going to change it from Beaver Stadium or anything like that on our logo. But you're going to get 2 special additional episodes with additional fun stuff within those. It's going to be exciting stuff, Eric. I can't wait to do it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Again, on the air, I'll say this to you. Good luck next week. I don't think you need it because I think the game's over. But good luck.
Yep.
Seriously, congratulations on a season where you guys looked dead in the freaking water. Yeah. And then you go on a 4-game tear.
Really special stuff.
Special game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, guys, so that's it for episode 9 of Catching the Facts. Again, we're going to be recording next week's episode on Tuesday, so expect that episode on Wednesday the 22nd. We'll be covering NFL as well. So that's it for this week. Until then, I'm your host, Dan Sisk.
And I'm Eric Schroeder.
And we'll see you then.